What if I told you that some of the vegetables you've been proudly eating for years, thinking they were keeping you healthy, might actually be hurting your heart? I know, it sounds strange. Maybe even a little upsetting. Because you've always done your best to eat right. You buy fresh produce, you add greens to your meals, you've made the switch from processed food to more natural options. But what if, in all of that effort, there were 7 seemingly harmless vegetables that have been quietly doing damage behind the scenes? Not because you did anything wrong, but because no one ever warned you. I'm not talking about junk food. I'm not talking about fast food or sugar. I'm talking about real, everyday vegetables that we're told are good for you, the ones in your salad, your soup, even your morning smoothie. But as we age, our bodies don't respond the same way they used to. What worked for you in your 40s or 50s can have a very different effect in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. You see, certain compounds in vegetables, like oxalates, lectins, and even natural sugars, can start to throw off your balance. They can raise your blood pressure, trigger inflammation, slow down your heart rhythm, and in some cases, quietly damage your arteries over time. And the worst part? You might feel like you're doing everything right. You're eating your greens. You're trying to stay active. But something still doesn't feel right. The energy's not there. The chest flutters more than it used to. The doctor keeps adjusting your medication. Sound familiar? I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to open your eyes. Because once you know what to look out for, you can do something about it. You can make simple changes that keep your heart strong, your body stable, and your mind clear. So here's what we're going to do. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 7 vegetables that seniors, especially those over 60, should either avoid or seriously limit. And I'll tell you why they affect the heart, how they sneak into our diets, and most importantly, what to eat instead. Stick with me, because number 6 genuinely surprised me, and if you or someone you love eats it regularly, it's worth paying attention. Now before we jump in, I want you to do one thing. If you're here because you care about your heart, or someone else's, type, "I'm watching for my heart," in the comments. It tells me you're serious, and it helps others know they're not alone. And while you're here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for Elderly Health Central. We bring you real, practical health insights every single week, because you deserve to know the truth about what your body needs as you age. Let's get into it. Let's start with the first vegetable on our list. Celery. Now, I know what you're thinking, celery? Isn't that supposed to be heart healthy? That's what Evelyn thought too. She's 73, active, and she's always tried to eat clean. When she heard celery helps with weight loss and digestion, she started adding it to every meal, chopped in her salad, blended in her smoothies, even munched on raw sticks between meals. But a few months in, her blood pressure wouldn't budge. In fact, it was climbing. What Evelyn didn't know is that celery is naturally high in sodium. Something that can sneak up on seniors who are salt sensitive. For younger folks or those with normal blood pressure, it's not a big deal. But as we age, our bodies become more reactive to sodium. Even the natural kind. And here's the tricky part, celery feels like a guilt-free food. It's crunchy, low in calories, and tastes fresh. So it doesn't feel like something that could hurt you. That's the misconception. It's not the calories, it's the compound inside that can do harm over time. So what's the solution? You don't have to ban celery completely, just eat it in moderation, especially if you're dealing with high blood pressure. And if you want something crunchy and refreshing, try cucumber or zucchini slices instead. They're lower in sodium and easier on your heart. Now, let's move on. Because it's not just salt that causes concern. Sometimes, it's what hides inside the leaves. Next up is spinach. George, 68, started juicing spinach every morning. He was told it's a superfood, great for the heart, full of iron, and packed with vitamins. But just a few months later, he noticed something odd. His kidneys started acting up. His doctor mentioned oxalate buildup. His blood pressure was rising again. Here's the thing, spinach is nutritious, but for seniors, especially those with kidney sensitivity or high blood pressure, it can be too much of a good thing. Spinach is extremely high in oxalates, natural compounds that can build up in the kidneys and interfere with how your body absorbs calcium. And when your calcium balance is off, it can affect your blood vessels and heart function. The misconception here? That spinach is always safe, no matter what. But for older adults, daily spinach, especially in raw or concentrated form, can cause more harm than good. So what should you do? If you enjoy spinach, cook it lightly. That helps reduce the oxalate content. And don't eat it every day. Mix it up with kale, lightly steamed, or romaine lettuce for your salads. But if you thought spinach was surprising, let's talk about one that causes discomfort in a way that's easy to ignore. Broccoli. Margaret always tried to eat healthy. She'd steam broccoli every night with dinner. But afterwards, she'd feel bloated, sluggish, even lightheaded. Her doctor said it was probably nothing, but the symptoms didn't go away. Eventually, tests showed that her digestion was poor, and her body wasn't absorbing nutrients the way it should. The reason? Broccoli, especially when eaten in larger amounts, contains a sugar called raffinose. It's hard to digest, especially for seniors whose gut enzymes aren't as strong as they once were. And when it ferments in the stomach, it can cause gas, bloating, and even inflammation, all of which put stress on your heart and circulation. Most people think, it's broccoli. It's supposed to prevent cancer and help my body. But when your body can't process it well, it creates more stress than support. If broccoli gives you trouble, try this, steam it thoroughly. That helps break down the raffinose. Or better yet, swap it for cooked carrots or squash, which are easier on your gut and still full of vitamins. But broccoli isn't the only cruciferous veggie to watch. Let's move to one that hides in smoothies, and messes with your thyroid. Raw kale. Arthur, 70, decided to go green. He started blending raw kale into his breakfast smoothie every morning. At first, he felt energized. But then, slowly, the fatigue crept in. He noticed occasional heart flutters. And his doctor noticed signs of thyroid suppression. The culprit? Kale contains compounds called goitrogens, especially when eaten raw. These can interfere with thyroid function. And when your thyroid slows down, it can lower your metabolism, make you tired, and slow your heart rate. Sometimes dangerously so. The mistake here is thinking that raw equals healthier. It doesn't always work that way, especially not with kale. So what can you do? Simple, cook it lightly, a quick steam or sauté breaks down the goitrogens. Or, swap it for arugula, which has a peppery taste and is gentler on the thyroid. Now, let's shift gears a bit. Because our next vegetable is one that tastes sweet, but has a hidden danger. Corn. Betty, 76, grew up loving sweet corn. It was part of her summer meals, her soups, and her casseroles. But after she started eating it more regularly, her blood sugar began creeping up, and so did her cholesterol. Corn may look like a vegetable, but inside your body, it behaves more like a starch-heavy grain. It's high in natural sugars and low in fiber. That combination can lead to spikes in blood glucose, especially for seniors with slower metabolisms or insulin resistance. The big misconception? That corn is a veggie. Technically it is, but in function, it behaves more like white bread than broccoli. So what's the fix? Limit your intake. Use corn sparingly, maybe once in a while as a treat. And when you want something filling, go for fiber-rich greens, cauliflower mash, or even roasted bell peppers instead. Now, let's talk about a lesser-known veggie that often flies under the radar, but could be quietly irritating your arteries. Eggplant. Dan, 67, loved his Mediterranean meals. Every night, he'd sauté eggplant with olive oil and herbs. But after dinner, he'd feel a strange tightness in his chest, sometimes even mild palpitations. At first, he blamed stress, but the symptoms always showed up after his eggplant dishes. Why? Eggplant belongs to the nightshade family, and it contains a compound called solanine. For some sensitive individuals, especially seniors with a history of inflammation or cardiovascular issues, solanine can worsen symptoms. It may trigger heartburn, joint pain, or irregular heart rhythms. And yet most people think of eggplant as a harmless filler, great in casseroles, stews, or dips. But for some, it's quietly toxic. If eggplant doesn't sit well with you, try this: bake it with the skin removed, or swap it for zucchini or bell peppers, which offer a similar texture without the inflammatory effects. Now finally, let's talk about one that's in almost everyone's pantry. But the danger isn't the vegetable itself. It's how it's packaged. Canned tomatoes. Claire, 72, made pasta sauces, soups, and chili using canned tomatoes. She cooked with love, but over time, her blood pressure started spiking, even though she'd cut back on salt and fat. Turns out, it wasn't the tomatoes, it was what came with them. Most canned tomatoes are packed in BPA-lined cans, and they often contain added sodium to enhance shelf life. BPA can leach into the food, especially acidic ones like tomatoes, and disrupt hormone function, which impacts blood pressure and heart health. People assume tomatoes are heart-friendly, and fresh ones are. But when they come in cans, especially unlined or salty ones, they carry hidden risks. So what can you do? Look for BPA-free cans with no added salt, or better yet, buy fresh tomatoes, or choose boxed varieties that use safer packaging. Now that you've seen the full list, let's talk about what this all means, and what you can do next. I know it's tough realizing that the foods we've trusted for years, some we've eaten since childhood, might actually be working against our health now. You grew up being told spinach was a superfood. That kale was clean and green. That corn on the cob was part of a hearty family meal. And celery? That was supposed to be the diet food of champions. So it feels personal. Maybe even a little unfair. Because you've tried. You've made the switch from junk food to whole foods. You've done your best to eat right, stay active, and follow the rules you were taught. And now you're hearing, wait, these vegetables might be hurting my heart. It's okay to feel confused. Maybe even frustrated. But let me tell you something important. This isn't about fear. This isn't about tossing out everything in your fridge or being scared to eat. This is about awareness. This is about understanding that as our bodies change, our needs change too. What worked when you were 30 might not work the same way now. And that's not a failure, it's simply life. It's wisdom. It's adaptation. With knowledge, you gain choice. With choice, you gain power. And with power, you can protect your heart, not just for yourself, but for your spouse, your children, your grandchildren, and the beautiful life you're still creating every single day. So here's what I want you to do next. Walk into your kitchen after this video. Open your pantry. Check your fridge. Look at those labels. Scan for sodium. Watch out for additives. And next time you're at the grocery store, just pause for a moment. Ask yourself, is this food helping me, or quietly hurting me? Because natural doesn't always mean safe. Not for everybody. Not for your body. And especially not for senior hearts that deserve more protection, not less. But here's the good news. There are better alternatives. There are delicious, Heart-friendly choices out there that don't bloat you, spike your blood sugar, or wear down your energy. You can make tiny swaps, steamed instead of raw, fresh instead of canned, zucchini instead of eggplant, and those tiny changes? They can add up to a massive difference in how you feel. More stable energy. More restful sleep. More confidence. And yes, more years with the people who love you. Because this isn't just about vegetables. It's about taking back control. It's about standing up for your health in a world full of noise and misinformation. And it's about doing something today that your future self will thank you for. So take a deep breath. You're already on the right path. And you're not doing this alone. You're part of Elderly Health Central now. And we're in this together. So, let's take a quick moment to recap the vegetables we talked about today, because I know that was a lot to take in. Celery. Spinach. Broccoli. Raw kale. Corn. Eggplant, and canned tomatoes. They sound healthy. Many of them have been praised for decades as superfoods. But for those of us over 60, those of us with more sensitive hearts, slower metabolisms, and bodies that don't filter things the way they used to, these veggies can quietly cause more harm than good when eaten the wrong way or too often. From hidden sodium to blood sugar spikes. From bloating that wears you out. To thyroid issues and even dangerous additives from cans. Each one carries a small risk that adds up over time, especially when your body is already doing the hard work of aging gracefully. But don't worry, you're not expected to remember it all perfectly. That's why this channel exists. Now I want to hear from you. Have you eaten any of these regularly? Were you as shocked as I was about number 6? Or maybe it was celery that caught you off guard? Whatever it was, I'd love to know, which one surprised you the most? Or even better, have you noticed any changes in your health after eating any of these foods? Scroll down to the comments and just write a few words. Your story might help someone else feel seen. And you never know, you might just spark a conversation that changes someone's life. Now, if this video helped you, even a little bit, if it made you pause, or think, or look at your plate a little differently, I'd be so grateful if you'd hit that subscribe button. Here at Elderly Health Central, we're not about trends. We're not here to scare you or confuse you. We're here to walk with you, to give you solid, practical, and loving guidance on how to take care of your body as it changes. Because aging doesn't have to mean giving up control. It can mean gaining wisdom. It can mean making smarter choices, and feeling better than you have in years. So go ahead, subscribe, turn on the little notification bell, and come back every week for more videos just like this one. We're in this together. We're learning. We're adjusting. And we're protecting the most important thing we've got, our hearts. Thank you, truly, for watching. Stay informed. Stay empowered. And most of all, stay heart healthy. I'll see you in the next one.